Welcome to WNL Sports Weekly. I'm Jeremy Franklin. This week we'll speak with golf coach Kelsie Carralero, baseball captain Tom Concklin, and men's lacrosse captain Whit Griffin. But first, a quick look back at the weekend in Washington and Lee athletics. Women's lacrosse stayed unbeaten in the ODAC with a 17-6 win over Lynchburg. The Generals then earned their first #1 ranking in program history, topping the latest Nike U.S. Lacrosse Division III poll. Men's lacrosse down Guilford 20-5. Baseball split an ODAC doubleheader with 12th-ranked Randolph-Macon, beating the Yellow Jackets 11-3 in the opener before falling 6-4 in the nightcap. Women's tennis lost 5-4 at Mary Washington. Two WNL men's track and field records fell this weekend. Max Strahler broke the mark in the 5,000 meters at William & Mary, while Dash Derricks set a new standard in the discus at High Point. Men's golf lost in the semifinals of the Division III match play invite in Greensboro, downing Center and Hampton-Sydney before falling 3-2 to Barry. And women's golf placed 3rd out of 12 teams at the Callaway Golf Spring Invitational. Here with me in the studio is assistant golf coach Kelsie Carralero. Kelsie, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Jeremy.
Those events in Greensboro were the final tune-ups for the men and women before the ODAC tournament. How did things go for the Generals these past few days?
Overall they went really well. Our first matchup was against Center at the match play event. We won 4-1 in that matchup. That led us to the semifinals against Hampton-Sydney. That was a real close match. Senior Conley Hurst, junior Luke Farley, and freshman Brian Pesey had really good swings coming in. That led us to 3-2 against Hampton-Sydney. That brought us to the championship against Barry. There was really close again, and then Barry down the stretch made really good swings to they made the swings they needed to win. But we were feeling really good going into ODACs for them. Women also played in Greensboro in the Callaway Spring Invitational. We had a really good round on the first day, 3-9, which was a season low for us. We had 2 players making the all-tournament team. Mary Frances Hall, who's a junior, came in second with a 2-day total of 148. And then junior Lisa Freed came in tied for 4th at 152. So we're also feeling good going into ODACs as well.
You're a 2014 graduate of Methodist, where you won 2 national titles and were a 4-time All-American. What's the experience like working on the other side, especially as you coach some players with NCAA tournament experience?
It's completely different being on the other side, but it's a great experience, and I'm glad I could share my experiences as a player with them. But I think it gives me a different perspective being a player to share with them. I can share not only my experiences as a player, but I can share, the everyday struggles as a player and a student athlete with them as well.
What are the women's goals for the postseason?
The goals don't change because we're in postseason now. We look at every tournament the same, and all we want to do is go out there and play our best.
Same question. What are the men's expectations for the upcoming postseason?
The expectations, again, are the same. We want to go out there and play our best, and so we look at every tournament the same as the tournaments we were playing there. And so if we go out there and treat every tournament as the same we were playing, we'll go out there and hopefully achieve that.
Kelsie, thanks for joining us. Best of luck at the ODAC Championship.
Thank you very much, Jeremy.
Joining me now is Tom Concklin, senior baseball captain from Hinsdale, Illinois. Tom, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Jeremy. Happy to be here.
WNL enters Wednesday's showdown with #1 Shenandoah. In first place in the ODAC, the Generals are 10-1 in the conference so far. What's enabled the team to put together such a great record through the first half of the conference season?
We've played a lot of home games, which has helped a whole lot, but we just came into this year with a lot of confidence. We knew we were a great team. We played a great out-of-conference schedule. At the time, we played #1 in the country, Emory, #2, Cortland. And we knew we could match up with the best of the best. We've had a lot of confidence, a lot of returning players, and a lot of first years playing well. We've just been grooving, and we're happy to be in first place right now in the conference.
You were an All-American on the mound in 2016. You struggled out of the gate in 2017, but in your last 5 starts, you're 5-0 with an ERA just over 1. Do you feel like you've regained the form that we saw throughout your junior season?
Yeah, it was obviously tough to struggle early on. It's frustrating when you know that you can play at one level and you're not quite there. But yeah, it's definitely made me very confident now that I've gotten back to the groove I was last year. I've always been confident. I understand pitchers are going to get hit around. We're not going to be perfect, but I'm just happy that once ODAC play came around, I've been consistent for my team and given us a chance to win every time I'm out there.
Underclassmen have accounted for more than half of the innings on the mound for the Generals this season. How are your younger pitchers coming along?
They've been doing great. Obviously a big chunk of that's Danny Devereaux, who's been our shutdown closer for 2 years now. He's an unbelievable pitcher. But also the first years have gotten a lot of invaluable experience. And with that have come some pros and cons, which is only going to make us better because they're going to learn from our failures and gain some more confidence from their successes. and that's only going to help us down the road. So it's been great to give them a lot of experience while still winning a bunch of baseball games.
There's still a lot of baseball left in the regular season. What are the team's goals for the month of April?
Yeah, so we've obviously, as we've discussed, we've played a lot of very good baseball to this point, but we know we haven't played our best game or haven't been as consistent as we could have. So we're going to continue to work on just getting better day in and day out and really elevate this team to an extra level that I think we know we can achieve that we haven't quite gotten to yet at this point in the season. So just continue to improve, continue to win ball games, and hopefully peak, once the ODAC tournament comes around.
Tom, thanks for joining us. Best of luck throughout the year.
Thank you, Jeremy. Appreciate it.
With me now is Whit Griffin, senior lacrosse captain from Richmond. Whit, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
WNL started off the season 2-4, but you're now 4-0 in ODAC play, including big wins over Lynchburg and Hampton-Sydney. How have things come together for the Generals during the conference schedule?
Well, I think last year we had a relatively bumpy start as well, so we're trying to reiterate the messages we heard from our leaders last year and say that we have our team goals still in front of us of having great team chemistry and winning the ODAC. We're really young on the defensive side of the ball, so I think it's taken some time to come together as a group and become sort of a cohesive unit, both as a team defense and clearing the ball. But in recent weeks in ODAC play, we've been pretty locked down and sort of a nightmare for opposing offenses, so it's really been crucial to our 4-0 start.
You mentioned the youth on defense. Overall, this is a very young roster. 2/3 of the team is comprised of first years and sophomores. I'm sure your leadership role has provided some challenges, but how rewarding has it been to see those young players develop?
It's been pretty incredible watching them grow as the season's progressed. Coach McCabe constantly says that they're not really freshmen anymore because they're having to make big plays week in and week out. But they've completely bought into our team's mentality on and off the field, and it's allowed us to establish some pretty awesome team chemistry, which will hopefully carry us through the rest of the season and into a postseason run.
The General starting attackmen, you, Sam Dardany, and A.J. Witherell have combined for 116 points through the first 10 games. What's led to the success on that end of the field?
Well, A.J. and Sam are both incredible attackmen, putting a tremendous amount of pressure on the opposing defenses, which just allows our offense to run really smoothly. And I think at the beginning of the season, we just developed some great chemistry and trust with each other that allowed us to become a dynamic and fluid unit that can attack a defense from all three sides. And then we've had some really, really awesome midfield play from Joe Perella, Jonathan Henry, Jones Veith, and Hudson Hamill, amongst others, who have just made our lives really easy.
WNL has some key games remaining, most notably a visit to Roanoke on April 22nd. What do the Generals need to do to maintain the level of play, maybe even build off of what we've seen over the last few weeks?
I think everyone in our locker room has that game circled, as it's probably the most important on our schedule remaining. I think we just need to continue to play lockdown defense, clear the ball at a high level, and continue to push our offense to its full potential. And then looking forward, we hope to host the ODAC tournament for the first time in our senior class's 4 years here, and then hopefully win it.
Whit, thanks for joining us. Best of luck with the rest of the year.
Thanks for having me.
For WNL Sports Weekly, I'm Jeremy Franklin. Thanks for watching.